Hi guys, and welcome to my very first ever YouTube video. I'm so excited. This has been at least a year in the making of wanting to get onto YouTube. So I am here and welcome. I thought perfect topic to start with is intermittent fasting because it is the one that you guys have been hounding on me for so long. I apologize in advance because this is going to be so raw and unedited just because I just don't have the time to edit, and I actually don't know how to edit videos, and that's part of the reason why I held off with this for so long. But intermittent fasting, so today I wanted to go over my experience with intermittent fasting. If you've been following along on my Instagram, you'll know that I've been researching it a lot lately because, like I said, everyone's been asking about it. So I wanted to go over a bit about what I've found out over the last couple of months, but also a couple of my experiences with intermittent fasting, because if you've, like I said, been following me, you'll know that I've tried it in the past and it was incredibly unsuccessful, and I want to explain why it was unsuccessful in the past and much more successful now today. I'm going to try and keep this nice and short and sweet for you guys as well, because I know you guys are time poor as well. So I'll start with my experiences of intermittent fasting in the past. So the first time that I ever tried intermittent fasting was at least 12 to 18 months ago. And the reason why I actually started it was because I was super stressed. I was running my boot camps up in Brisbane, working 16 sort of hour days. I was so run down, so tired, wasn't training very well, so I was actually starting to gain a bit of weight, getting a bit puffy. I certainly wasn't obese or anything, but I just wasn't feeling comfortable in my own skin. A lot of people at the gym that I was at the time were doing intermittent fasting, and so they sort of suggested it to me as a way to control my eating and to try and lose a little bit of body fat. So I did what they said. So the typical sort of fast that everyone does is fasting till midday and then eating between midday and 8 p.m. And then obviously fasting then again till midday the next day. Now, should have thought this through, but I probably was so stressed that I couldn't actually think it through at the time. I was waking up at 4:30 to 4:45 each morning, which meant that there was quite a few hours that I was awake and relatively active. I was working in a hospital at the time, so walking all day, obviously running my boot camps. So that was a long period of time waiting till 12 o'clock to eat. Safe to say that time it lasted a good week, maybe, if that. I was absolutely starving to the point where when it would get to a time that I thought was suitable to eat, I would literally eat everything in sight and nothing would satisfy me. I was pretty much binging from about 11 a.m. because I could not wait till 12 p.m. to eat. It was just ridiculous. I was starving. I felt like a failure because I wasn't able to do this when everyone said it was so easy to do and it was supposed to control my appetite, and it was just making it so much worse. I ended up eating a lot more. So ditched it, absolutely ditched it, and thought of myself as a failure and didn't try it again for probably a couple of months. I don't know what sort of made me start it again. I think I just again wanted something else to try and help me because I couldn't work out what was going on with my body. Now I know that I was just stressed. So I tried it again, exactly the same protocol, and pretty much the same thing happened. I was run down, I felt like a failure, I couldn't stick to it, and not to mention I was going to bed feeling so full and bloated because I was eating until 8 o'clock at night when I was allowed to, and then going to bed at probably 9 o'clock at night because that's when I had to go to bed to get up early. So that's why essentially it didn't, well, that's how it didn't work for me last time. And I guess it all sort of makes sense now that I've looked at the research. So firstly, thank you to all those guys that have purchased my my Bible of intermittent fasting that I just released last night. So the Bible I created was actually, I guess, as a result of all the questions that you guys have had. And I've compiled all of the research that I've done on intermittent fasting over the last couple of months. So amazing. So head onto my website if you haven't got that already, but I'll go through a couple of things that I cover in it as well right now. So one of the things that since doing the research that I've realized that intermittent fasting is amazing for is that it is supposed to help you get in line with your circadian rhythm. So create circadian rhythm alignment. Now, circadian rhythm alignment, which circadian rhythm is essentially your body clock. So the way that your body is naturally supposed to work. And there's going to be variances between all of our different body clocks. You know, some people are certainly more night owls, some people are certainly more morning birds. And I've always been a morning bird. So I'm trying to be less of a morning bird, not getting up at the 4 o'clock anymore, which is amazing. But yeah, I've certainly always been a morning bird. Anyway, the fasting, like I said, is beneficial because it helps you get in line with when your body is supposed to be eating and primed for eating, and not eating when it's not supposed to be eating, aka when it's supposed to be sleeping. And essentially that's where all the health benefits come from what we can see in the research, is that it is that alignment with your circadian rhythm. So my third attempt, this time after doing all the research, I decided to do it in a research-backed method, which I probably should have done to begin with. Now, there was a few things that are incredibly different this time. One, my stress levels are so much lower. So doing it while you're chronically stressed is not ideal. I do not recommend trying to fit into a fasting protocol whilst you're chronically stressed. Now, I do go through this in the Bible, in the guide. So essentially I go through, you know, what you could do if that was you, if you were stressed, because there certainly is options so that you can still gain some benefits. The other thing that has changed since I did it last time is that I'm sleeping much more. So previously I was sleeping about 6 hours a night. I'm now averaging, according to my Fitbit, about 7.5 hours a night. Some days 8 hours. So I've certainly improved my sleep, which obviously makes fasting so much easier, because when you're asleep, you're not thinking about food. So this time with my fasting, I've been a lot more flexible as well. And that's something else that I go through in the guide, is the flexibility of it, so that it's not a fad diet. Essentially, the way that I was treating it the last 2 times was as a fad diet. It's all or nothing. I was a failure if I didn't stick to the exact times that I had been prescribed to stick to. So this time I've become a lot more flexible with it, in terms of, because I saw what the research was saying and the windows that the research was saying, I decided that, okay, well, as long as I have this sort of flexibility within this range, then I'm still going to absolutely get benefits. And that took away a lot of stress for me when it came to fasting as well. It meant that I didn't have to be so rigid with it, but I could still get the benefits. So it became a whole lot more stress-free approach. The other reason that I think that this time it worked much better is because of the mindset that I approached it in. And again, I'll talk about this in the Bible, the guide that you can purchase on my website. But essentially, the mindset that you approach a diet in, and I hate the term diet, you all know that, but the mindset that you approach your way of eating can determine whether it's a success or failure. And the mindset I had last time was, I have to lose some body fat. I'm puffy, I'm stressed, I need to do something to make me feel better. This time it was, let's give this a go. Let's see what happens, and let's just learn how my body might respond to this. So that's what I did this time, and it has been so much more successful, and I've certainly found that it has been beneficial in terms of reducing my bloating, actually helping me create like a good rhythm and pattern with my eating. But also, I'm the sort of person who's always been starving and thinking about food 24/7. That's been me for probably the last 2 years. I don't know whether it's through stress or just because my job is all about food. But what I found is that the intermittent fasting protocol that I suggest is, it takes away the thought of food for me a lot of the time. So obviously I still think about food a bit, but I'm not sort of always now waiting for my next meal, thinking about my next meal, what I'm going to have, when I can eat, is it okay if I eat now, is it too soon? So it's really reduced down a lot of that thinking about food, which has also freed up a lot of time for me as well. One other thing is that I'm going to bed feeling lighter, and I know that sounds stupid, but feeling less heavy, less bloated, and waking up feeling lighter and flatter in the stomach. And again, it's so superficial, I know, but as females, I know it's something that a lot of us do think about, is, you know, how we feel when we wake up in the morning, and feeling heavy in the stomach is not something that is pleasurable to wake up feeling like first thing in the morning. So They're sort of the benefits that I've seen. In terms of body fat, again, this wasn't the reason I was doing it this time. I do think I have lost a bit of body fat. I don't really track my body fat through any measures. But again, my exercise has changed a little bit over the last couple of months as well. So who knows around body fat, but for me, it's actually working incredibly well at the moment in terms of reducing down, like a lot of, like I said, the symptoms around bloating and my digestive system, reducing the thoughts around food and creating a really regular meal pattern for me. So if that's then helping me in terms of my long-term markers of health, so my metabolic markers and everything, then fantastic. So yeah, that's essentially my experience with intermittent fasting this time. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box below. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now that I'm here, I'm going to keep posting more and more. I'm sorry that this is so basic and so unedited, but that is all I can do at the moment. I will try and do some more edited fancy videos in the future. But I'll probably try and keep it nice and real for you guys as well, because you know that's what I like, to keep things real. Show you that not everyone's perfect. I hope this wasn't too long for you. As I said, just comment below if you've got any feedback about the video, about what you want to see from my YouTube channel, and like I said, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to learn more about fasting in a bull-free way, then please, I don't know if can I swear on YouTube? I don't know, probably. But yeah, if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting, how to make it work for you, what the research actually says, because there is so much rubbish out there, then head onto my website, www.marikaday.com, hit the shop section and it's there. It's nice and cheap. Obviously, I wanted to keep it affordable for you guys. So head on over and check it out. Thank you so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time that I do a YouTube video. I promise it won't be too long. Have a fab day.